Hey everybody, how are you? This is, what is this? Technically, video number 6? I think we did 5. We sort of did a 6 last night, so maybe we'll call this 7. I don't know, I'm losing track. But I'm starting to gather all my nuts and berries for what I'm doing up here. You can see behind me that we've got all the sheetrock brought up. There's 12 sheets of this stuff. It's the ultralight version, and actually when Jeremy and I carried it up here, it was a lot lighter than lugging up these OSB panels, which was kind of strange. But they claim they're 17 pounds lighter than a normal thing of sheetrock. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pre-cut a bunch of pieces first, and I'm gonna go ahead and line this up as fast as I can, with the exception of where I need to have cutouts. I always hate doing those, but we'll get them measured and cut out properly and hung. And then, you know, I've got fasteners for the OSB that's going to go on there. I've got a big old container of sheetrock screws that we're going to use for the sheetrock. You got to have a mud pan, folks, all right? And get you a knife. Now, this particular one here, I like it because I can reach the ceiling with it. As you can see, I don't have to do a whole lot of stretching with it, and I can cover a lot of ground instead of using the shorter ones. But we'll just use this for the initial taping. I don't have a banjo or anything like that, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a small, you know, they call it a banjo because it's about the size of a banjo, a little round tape dispenser, which you mix up some +3 joint compound and you get it into kind of a soupy mix, like syrup or whatever. You add water and you blend it up, and then you put a roll of this tape in the banjo, and then what happens is your tape runs across, you know, as it pulls through, it runs across the mud, okay, and it coats the bottom of that tape with a nice even coat of mud. And so the whole idea is just to do some quick taping. And back in my sheetrock days, you get really good at it. I mean, you can pull that tape out and just pop, snap it right into place, and you can really knock this out. But in this case, since I don't have those tools, we'll just sort of like pre-coat the seam, put the tape on, squeegee out the excess, let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll start coating. But for now, tonight, we're gonna cut pieces and hang them. So real quick, I just want to cover down on something, and I think it's important as to why I am showing these videos on building the man cave. All right, when I had my first man cave, it was back in, oh my gosh, probably 20 years ago, maybe. Back when Heather and I first got together, we've been together longer than that, but we've been married 19. And the house that we lived in was built in 1952. It had a no crap bomb shelter in it. Okay, this was up in Minnesota. So literally it was a completely encased bomb shelter in concrete with a steel entry door. It had a blast wall in there, had an escape hatch, had ventilation access points. Someone had ran 220 in there so you could hook up a stove if you wanted to. But it was a honest to goodness bomb shelter. And so I immediately ran in there, and that's where I hung out, man. That's where the models were being built. That's where the military collectibles were displayed and everything else. And then we ended up moving out of Minnesota. So we got to West Virginia. I went without a man cave for a long time. Then I converted a porch into I just enclosed it and insulated it and stuff, and it was real tight. But it gave me a place to try to work on some models a little bit. I love to work on models and do artwork, so that's kind of that's my thing, you know. It's better than drinking booze and chasing women, and it keeps me honest. So even though I'm an honest guy anyhow, but so yeah, then we moved and we came over here to Pennsylvania, and we had a pretty nice house. It was new, but it just, you know, it really wasn't big enough for our family. We had 3 boys and a daughter at home. But I had this little tiny corner in the basement where the hot water heater was and the HVAC system and all that. So that's where I set up shop to do man cave stuff for me. man cave meant, building models. I love 1/35th scale tanks, 1/16th scale RC armor, and some of the World War II aircraft. But it's just, that is my escape, folks. I mean, that's where I go. And so now we moved over here, and I have the shop, but the shop's completely mangled. And we wanted to make sure that when we built the building that we're in right now, that I had the availability to build a shop. So it's been sitting here for a year, completely packed. And my boys came to visit. We got everything moved downstairs as much as we could. You can still see that I'm working around a lot of things, but we're gonna finish this bad boy, and we're gonna finish it by the time spring gets here. That is my goal. That's my personal goal. And I set lots of goals in my life, and a lot of them I don't hit the mark right when I'm trying to get there, but the whole idea is to never give up, right? You stay persistent and resilient, and you go after it, and you chase after your dreams with everything you got. So you pick away at it, you get her done. Now we got this space. We're gonna get it cleaned up. We're gonna get it assembled. We're gonna have a desk in here. It's just gonna be the ultimate hangout for me. It's gonna be a place where I can run my business, a place where I can relax and detox. Guys, you gotta build yourself a freaking man cave, all right? Think about it. If you're like me, you spent your whole adult life working. Now, I've been working since I was 15 years old, paying taxes, but I was working long before that, right? Blowing snow in Michigan, or not blowing snow, I was actually shoveling it, right? In Michigan as a little boy, clearing out driveways. I was mowing grass. I mean, you name it, I did everything I could to try to earn money. And that's how I funded my model habits back then. Delivered newspapers for the Oakland Press, Sunday papers. I hated them, especially in the wintertime, because you had to stuff those bad boys. But I've never been without a job. And anyhow, I've worked my entire adult life. I'm 51 years old. I've raised 3 awesome boys that are moved out and living their lives and doing their thing and being productive citizens. I've got a daughter who's getting, 1 more year of high school and getting ready to college. And I've got a wonderful marriage. But if a dude has to have the ability to go someplace in his own kingdom, his own safe space, if you will, and detox, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in here for all of us men. We're thinking all the time, we're working all the time, we're solving problems, we're multitasking, we've got stuff hitting us from all different directions. And our families look up to us to be strong and really be able to take care of these things. So, but dudes, you got to take a break. You have to. You got to be able to sleep at night. If you're choking on your own tongue and not sleeping at night and snoring all the time, go get you some medical help. Get a sleep study done. Get on a CPAP if you need to. But get yourself in a position where you're sleeping, because there's so much going on in our brains that if we don't get that REM sleep at night, that stuff never gets tucked away into the memory, and it just builds and builds and builds and compounds, and you get to a point where you just start to break down. And when you do that, you're stressed out. You're stressed out with your family. You're stressed out at work, and it's not worth it, okay? And if you're faith-based, man, you chased after Christ with everything you got, and walk a personal walk with the Lord. So, and I try to do that, and I'm still a failure at it, and a sinner and everything else, but I'm trying. So, it is what it is. But anyhow, you deserve it. You deserve a break today. Guys, find your peace. Find a way to relax and let the day's events get off your shoulders, and have a place for you to detox in the environment that you've created for yourself. I don't care if you're into sports memorabilia, if you're into military things like I am, if you collect butterflies, that's okay, all right? Or if you're into baseball cards or NASCAR or stamps, or maybe you just love to read, and you want to have a nice library to display. Whatever your passion is, build it. I'm encouraging every one of you guys to get out there and build your man cave, all right? I've been preaching building Jeeps, working on those Jeeps, And then we're working on those shops, and we're building those shops. Well, now we're going to be building some freaking man caves. And I think every one of you should go out there and do the same thing. I don't care how small it is or how freaking gargantuan it is. Go out and build them. And then post them on YouTube. Post them in the garage man cave link or whatever it is on Facebook. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But get involved, man, and then talk to dudes, you know, and share ideas and stuff. But look, you gotta have your own place, period. Your wife won't understand it in the beginning. Your children won't understand it in the beginning. But they will understand it when you get to a place mentally and physically where you find yourself giving more to your family if you just have a couple minutes to relax in your own space. So I'm encouraging you all to get your own space, build your own space, do whatever, and go after it with everything you got. Remember, you have dreams just like I have dreams, and the only way you're going to achieve those things is just to start doing something that's going to take you in that direction, right? Get all the negative vibes out of your head. Quit thinking about all the stressors and the people at work and the gossip and all that garbage. You don't need that stuff in your brain, because garbage in, just, you know, all you're doing is speaking crap into existence. So I want you to start thinking about speaking positive things into existence and, you know, move forward regardless of what it takes to get to where you got to go. Just don't step on anybody along the way. That's all I ask, is that you do it in an ethical and moral fashion, and do it honest, all right? But get your space, fellas. Get your space, and then share it with all of us. All right? I love you. I've already gone on for 11 and a half minutes, and the video's probably already too long now, so let me get to work. Hang tight. All right, one's enough. My shoulder is killing me. It's still killing me from last night, and I'm having a hard time holding up like this. So I'm going to tackle this tomorrow morning, and I'm going to go nurse this thing and get some medication on it. So yeah, anyhow, the sheetrock fits pretty decent, and I have a tool to use to cut out the holes. And so we'll get the next pieces set up, but hey, that's it, man. You know, I really want to talk to you anyways about the reasons why we need to build man caves. I think it's important. So you get the gist. All right, we'll check in tomorrow, and Love you. Thanks for watching. Oh, and let's see if I get it right this time. Ready? You see that button right there, the one that I'm looking at? Push that button. Okay, when you push that button, that means you get to subscribe, and you won't miss an episode. Okay, remember, it's all about you guys, all about your dreams and passions and your space. Get out there and build your freaking man cave. Yeah.